Hey everyone, the last Shoegazer here, bringing you a movie review for Prom Night. This review is a part of my good buddy Joe, TheHORRORman's Saturday Slashback series, where each week we check out a new slasher based on a theme that Joe announces in his video. And this week, Joe asks us to review high school slashers. And I had a bunch that came to my mind. Part of me wanted to finally review Slaughter High, as I really love that film. But yeah, I decided to check out one that I've actually never seen, and that is 1980's Prom Night, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Leslie Nielsen. Did a really phenomenal job in this film. I have a nice 3-pack set here from Echo Bridge that I got earlier last year. That also includes Prom Night 2, Hello Mary Lou, and I actually just started watching that the other evening, and then this one also has Prom Night 4, Deliver Us from Evil. So yeah, I really wanted to check this one out finally. I'm actually now tempted to pick up this Synapse Blu-ray of the original Prom Night. But yeah, I wouldn't say that I was completely floored by this slasher. I really did like the overall vibe and feel of it. It's a little bit of a slow burn, and a lot of times I do really like or even love certain slow burners. But in this one, I think I was looking for it to kind of pick up a little bit more after a pretty brutal beginning to this film that almost seemed a little bit, similar to like the feel of like Alice, Sweet Alice, and then it kind of shifts to almost like a giallo with some of the camera work and shots being very like dramatic and metaphoric in a little bit of a way. I wouldn't say anything was too deep in this film. Some of it was pretty predictable, but I did like that some of those kind of themes kind of came into the mix, and then it pretty quickly turned into a pretty standard slasher, a masked killer, and leaves you kind of wondering who's doing it, based on the opening sequence, which is pretty tragic, that Leslie Nielsen is kind of caught up in from the beginning. It kind of leaves you kind of guessing maybe between like 2 or 3 people. But in the end, it's kind of a surprise, but I kind of saw it coming. Yeah, it was actually kind of tragic at the end too. So it was a little bit of a tough watch, especially me being a dad of a little girl, and also a teacher. The opening sequence kind of involving bullying and some things there. That definitely push someone to the brink of no return. An accident happens in the beginning, and it's actually kind of heartbreaking. And even though it's just a film and it's not real, it's kind of makes you look at bullying and peer pressure and things like that. And how cruel some kids can be to other kids, and it's kind of heartbreaking. So definitely go into this kind of expecting it to be a little bit tough in that sense, but it definitely kind of dives into a pretty classic slasher. Doesn't dwell on the tragedy too much, but there is some saddening stuff going on here in Prom Night, but even though it's a 1980 film, the vibe is very much like 1970s. To the core, there's some disco elements and some of Jamie Lee Curtis's moves. Man, she could groove. She was tearing it up, and had the classic like King and Queen of the Prom, and just had like a glow to it that very much screamed like disco and 70s. So it had a really cool old school setting there in the high school, which there were a lot of creepy interior shots as things really picked up, and the killer was kind of on the loose and taking out people one by one in the depths of the school. But yeah, this it was very creepy, very atmospheric at times. Definitely enjoyed it from start to finish. Um, it's not one of my favorite slashers, but I will say it's worth a watch, and I can see why a lot of people like it. So definitely gets, you know, a fairly high rating in my opinion. I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was phenomenal. Kind of had her similar presence as in you know, the Halloween franchise. Leslie Nielsen playing a pretty cool character. I thought he did a really nice job. But overall, the setting, the feel of it, had a nice 1980s slash like 70s sort of slasher vibe going on, which I really enjoyed. But like I said, there are some kind of tough elements at play here, kind of tragic, saddening. But yeah, I really enjoyed the shift from, you know, sort of the Alice, Sweet Alice similarities there, and you know, moving to like a little bit of a American Giallo sort of feel to a classic 80s slasher. I'll tell you what, that killer could move too. He was really creepy. But yeah, it keeps you guessing to the bitter end, and the ending is just as, I think, bittersweet and kind of tragic as the beginning. So, bit of a sad one here. You know, not like other slashers are any happier, but definitely check out Prom Night. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Can't wait to see what you guys do for you know, the Slashback Saturday here. And Joe, hope you enjoyed this review. I can't wait to see what you pick for the theme for this coming week. Really been enjoying this series. And as always, guys, thanks for watching and have a good one.